So, after completing 2 characters, the last one to do a showcase is on Edward. As we all know, I started priming my models and I primed Edward as well. What I want for my Edward model is to have his proper wheel arrangement, so I split his body and the chassis with a screwdriver. I also sprayed his tender, and once they're both sprayed, I sanded it down with sandpaper. However, around that time, I decided to separate his magnets, and doing so, damaging the wheels, which was a major severe thing that was happening to my Edward tender. I don't know why I went with this option, and this is probably a life lesson I won't probably do for my next customs. This is what I want my Edward to look like, and a little bit of this. My Edward had the dome on the wrong place, so what I did was I used a hammer to push down the dome to pop under Edward. I also made a song about it if all of you may remember. Then came his wheel configuration. I used Mega Bloks for Edward's wheel configuration, and it turned out to be a great solution. Get the Mega Bloks wheels if you want to make your Edward. Then I want to make Edward's front long, but I don't want to make it too long, and this was the result. I did not like it, so I decided to change it. I came up with another solution which is much brilliant than the final one. This Edward kind of looks like this one, but I don't want my Edward to look like this one. I used some of the wood front from Henry, and it looked much better than I was anticipating. Then I also filled in the gap of the Edward dome, and it was really coming together, much better than I was anticipating. The next step was to connect his pony wheels to the main driving wheels. I did multiple testings with this, testing to make sure it goes easily on sharp curves and also long curves. I did not do the same thing with my James because he goes on the main line, so he does not need a moving pony truck. If you look just closely, you can see that I use Proxy Putty to smooth in the gaps, and also I moved the 2 black wheels together a little bit closer. I added a dome using super glue. Okay, here is the best part, connecting the pony wheels to the main driving wheels. I use a balsa wood, string, and also super glue to connect these both wheels so that way they're like moving side to side, and it turned out a brilliant solution. Check it out. Later through the days when I was working on my Edward, I kinda feel guilty and feel bad about having the idea of no magnets. So what I ultimately chose was put magnets at the front of my locomotives, so that way they can be much better and be back the way they used to be. I didn't know why I took off the magnets, and I'll say it again, having no magnets is just awful for your wooden railway custom. I checked my picture to see if there was anything wrong and see if I can correct anything, And apparently the funnel needs to be changed. I changed the funnel so it looked much better. And at first I don't like it, but then I like it. Turned out much better than I was thinking. And then here was the next part, adding details to the tender. I checked on my Edward picture, so I decided why not put details on the tender to make Edward more unique. He needs to be the unique engine out of the whole group. And also here's this picture of Edward rolling with his new wheels. Video. Then I started painting the wheels, and I usually use the best quality paint I can use, and what I used was Apple Barrel. Honestly, Apple Barrel is kind of worse for your custom projects. 1, it usually washes off. 2, it scratches whenever you use your nails on it. And 3, it does not give a shiny color to your models. So I fully recommend acrylic paint instead of Apple Barrel, because it makes your models look bad and they don't stick on properly. Then I had this idea of using spray paint, the prime, to spray my projects again, so maybe it worked out. But apparently this was the biggest mistake I could ever do when custom making. Also, do not prime your models inside the doors during the night. I learned this the hard way. Therefore, I had to take my models inside of the bathroom, and the next day, they look kind of drab and kind of shiny. Shiny looks kind of make up the mistakes, but it does not clarify the mistakes if they are very dangerous. So that will be a life lesson on how to keep up with my future. The next step came the stripes, and by God, let me tell you, it was a nightmare to do the stripes. If you all remember, I post in the posts in my community tab, and you would know that I had a lot of trouble. So I just painted Edward with a dark blue color, and this is my first attempt of making the stripes, and I thought it was bad, very bad. Then I checked out a picture of Edward, and it looked so simplistic. But then I had this idea. What if I made a copy on a printer and then apply the stickers? The stripes are made from tape with the spray paint, and it looked good, very good. I used tapewood to cover for the cap, because why not? And apply this much better blue, because I never liked the dark blue. Light blue suits Edward very, very good. And by God, I like it so much. I have not caught this on camera, but let me explain. For the wheel arches, I used Lego 2x2 round. You know those little round pieces? Yeah, I used those and cut them in half and make the wheel arches of them. And then I fill in Milliput and then sand it all down, and then paint in blue, and it's perfect. You can see right here. And around this time, I thought it would be fun and easy to use tape on a printer, on the paper, and then glue it right on the tender and also the cap. I have not glued it on the cap, but I glue it on the tender, and it looks so good. I mean, Thomas Wayne Railway and Domeless Engines had did this idea. As you can see, I applied the stripes and the wheel arch. And also, I painted black on the main part between the wheels and also the pony wheels. And as you can see, this is a picture, and I did a Photoshop of Edward's old design. And many of you thought I was going to do the design, but clearly I did not want to do an old-fashioned Edward. I also did not want to use the stickers, so I buy new Posca paint markers, which are not Posca paint markers, and basically drew on them. I also cut the edge of a Posca paint marker so it looked thin. As you can see, I draw the windows and also I painted the black running board, and it was really coming together. I was able to recover the tender after its 75th anniversary, 60, and just restore it to its natural glory. As you can see, it was really coming together, a good Edward model that I was processing. And also, over time, I added simple details like fill in the black gap and also added the dome. However, I changed the dome to a much round shape instead of a comb shape. It really suits Edward much better. Over the past few days, I updated my Edward more and more. I painted the smoke blocks, the funnel, the running board red, the tender with a little bit of red, the black running board, and so much simplistic details. And I'll just let the camera show you what I done. On the day that I was about to finish it, I slid up the face and tried to paint it but ruined it. So I had to use a paper face instead. I know, it's not the same, but it kind of looks like one of those Erdo models that has a paper face on it. But I do like the simplistic and charming of it. And once everything was done, I gave it a primer and it was done. Very well done. And with Edward finished, that's basically my Percy, Thomas, and Edward completed. I am very proud of this achievement that I made. But since I finished with my Percy, Thomas, and Edward, I want to hear from you. Yes, you. Vote right now who I should do next. Should I do Toby, Oliver, or my custom, or Pug, or James? Either way, let me know. More showcases and customs are on the way, but those are stories for another day.